What's up, A to Z Sports here live on a awful Sunday afternoon for the Tennessee Titans organization as they get absolutely blown out in the most embarrassing way possible by Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers. The final score 30-14. 30-14. At least
somebody scored 30 points.
Good for them. You beat me to it. I was about to do the same.
I'm so sorry.
Thing.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
That's okay. So I don't know if some people have processed the loss already, like it seems like Easton and I have, and I'm a lot less heated than I was in the halftime show, but still a lot of really bad things to talk about here live on our post-game show, Titan Game Day Live, every Titans game day, pre-game, halftime, and post-game show. I'm Austin Stanley with our Titans reporter, Easton Freeze, here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Easton, tell the people what they need to do, and then we'll get this thing off and rolling.
As much as you dislike the Titans right now, that's how much you need to like our show today. Help us out. Hit that like button on Facebook, on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're retweeting us on Twitter. Make sure you're sending the show link to a friend who you know is in a bad headspace right now and needs a little bit of therapy. We're here to provide it for you. Hit that like button for us.
Yep, we'll do it officially, and then we'll dive into all of the reaction. Welcome into the Titan Post-Game Show presented by BetMGM and T-Dot. Nobody trashes Tennessee. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already on Facebook and on YouTube. You got to thank our partners for this Titans season. Thanks a bunch to X Golf Nashville and also now in Murfreesboro, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, entertain, playxgolf.com is their website. BetMGM, log in today for your Pro Football Boost Pack to acquire more tokens for more winnings. BetMGM, an official partner of the Tennessee Titans, and T-Dot, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee. Visit nobodytrashestennessee.com. Oh my gosh. Okay, so 30-14, the final score.
Begin?
Yeah, where to begin? Because Malik Willis comes in, and from the very beginning, the Packers offense could basically do just about anything it wanted to. When the Titans defense was stopping Josh Jacobs to just 1.6 yards per carry in the first half, they could not stop the Packers running game in the second half enough. And this is an abysmal performance by the Titans. The defense gives up a bunch of points. Jeffrey Simmons has a penalty on a missed field goal that then allows the Packers to score a touchdown, I believe, on the next play on a screen pass to make it 27-7 at that point. The Titans get on the board again with DeAndre Hopkins catching a touchdown pass from Will Levis, his second touchdown pass of the day, and Diop's first score of the season to make it 27-14, and then a late field goal by Narveson makes it 30-14. So look, there's a lot of things to get to. I do want to have a moment here because William Jones says, good for Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I do think as somebody who, and both of us have been around and covered Malik Willis for the first 2+ years of his NFL career, there's been a lot of bad for Malik Willis, a lot of hate on Malik Willis, and Malik Willis has done nothing but handle it professionally and humbly. And for the Titans to give him the opportunity to go be a backup and not be a third stringer, but be a backup somewhere else. And now he finds himself 2-0 as a Packers starter and coming into Nissan Stadium and putting a whooping on his former team. Yeah, I do think tell Malik Willis good job today because he deserves that. So props to Malik Willis. Easton, I'll let you kind of say your piece on that side.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want us to get out of control on the Malik Willis love. He made a couple of really nice plays. He still, he completed 13 passes. So, he completed one more pass than he did last week. He was involved slightly more than he was last week. Again,
Easton, come on. He threw for 202 yards in this defense and ran for 73, scored two touchdowns.
No, I know. Well, you cut me off there. I was going to say of the 13 passes, like 4 of them were things we've never seen Malik Willis do. They were awesome passes. So he looked really good in what they asked him to do. And again, I'm not taking anything away from him because it's not like he couldn't do more than that. He didn't have to do more than that. So I'm trying to be as clear as I can. I am not trying to take away from Malik. I am trying to add to the fact that the entire Packers team, the entire offense was fantastic, Malik included. So I think all 11 guys on offense and their head coach all deserve pretty equal, massive credit for what was a whipping. So yes. I don't want to make it a Malik killed them. I want to make it was the Green Bay Packers and Malik Willis killed them.
Without a doubt. And the Titans are now 0-3 under the Brian Callahan era as Will Levis is the current quarterback of the now and the future. 2 more interceptions for Will Levis today. I'm just going to go through the stats before we dive into some of this. Levis was 26 of 34, 260 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, sacked 8 times, ran the ball for Easton. You ran the ball for 12 yards. So my day just got even worse by a half yard. But there's a lot of bad things in this because the defense gets just absolutely torched. The Titans offense can't run the ball or pass protect for Will Levis. Will Levis makes the awful read early for the pick 6 on to Jair Alexander to make it a 17-7 game when it was at 10-7. The Titans had the football. So there's a lot of bad here. Easton, where do you want to start, in your opinion, on how this game unraveled so quickly for the Tennessee Titans?
Well, I want to start by addressing the people in the comments mad at me for maybe even more clear than I tried to be the first time. I saw somebody say, Easton trying to say that Willis wasn't better than Levis today. Not trying to say that. Willis was the better, more efficient quarterback than Levis today. 100%. Again, not trying to take any flowers away from Malik Willis. Just trying to point out that the entire Packers team, top to bottom, beat this Titans team. And that's where we can kind of transition to what the Titans did. The reason I point that out is because, again, this wasn't the Titans' inability to stop the quarterback, right? Or one specific wide receiver. This was the Titans' defense's inability to stop the entire offense. It did not matter who had the ball in their hands. They were beating up on the Titans. So that's not taking away from any Packers players. That's pointing out, hey, the Titans' defense was through and through very bad. Usually when you have a bad defensive performance, it's like, well, it's because the offensive or the defensive front was really sorry. Or, man, we couldn't cover anybody today. No, man, today it was everybody was equally bad, and they allowed the total yardage for the team, Austin. I don't know if you have it in front of you. I'm guessing they probably allowed as many yards in this game as they did in the first 2 games combined. At least it felt like it.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. The net passing yards was 190 from the Packers. The total yards, 378 total yards on 59 plays.
So
that's
almost
an average of 6.4 yards per play for the Packers today in Nissan Stadium.
So, yeah, I believe that's almost, if not as many as the first 2 games combined. The defense was really, really bad. And I feel like we kind of said all there was to say at halftime about it. I don't know how you can say they didn't underestimate what they were going to face. I don't know how you can say they didn't come in kind of asleep. They got better in the second half. Too little, too late. I don't know how you give them any credit for that because you've already allowed 20 points. You've already allowed the Packers offense to do whatever they want. When the Packers needed to kind of step on the Titans' throats a little bit in the second half, the couple of times where they needed a first down, they mostly got them. So even in some of they got a couple of stops the Titans defense did to give their offense a chance. And then we can talk more about the offense blowing the few chances they had down the stretch. But for the most part, this is what I'm trying to hammer home here is this is not week 1 or week 2. And the reason why I came in today so confident is because, guys, they were the more productive, arguably better team in those first 2 weeks. I think that they can win this game. Today, they were neither the more productive nor the better team, not even close. This was not one player like Will Levis throwing away week 1. This was all 22 players on the field were not good enough today. All of them.
Agree. The defense had no teeth. I think the defense showed up unprepared to play. And I don't know how that can happen in the NFL. And I said the analogy at halftime for our halftime show that it felt to me watching like the Titans defense approached this game as they were playing against the JV quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not ready for it. They thought we can walk out there and we're going to beat Malik. We've practiced against him. We know who Malik is. We know what he does poorly and where his strengths are. And they just rested on those laurels where they got punched in the face and had no teeth. They were getting run through, run over, run around, out schemed, out hustled, out everything.
I mean, the tackling, Austin, the tackling.
Yes.
Was
and it's
so
from
bad.
Everybody. Jamal Adams. And this is the thing that I don't want to overreact too much because it's football players doing football players things. Sometimes they try to pump themselves up. But Jamal Adams misses a whiffs on an open field tackle where the tight end has his back to him, which would have been like a 1 yard gain on an out route, ends up giving up an explosive play.
Mm-hmm.
The next play, Jamal Adams hits a dude 9 yards down the field to create 2nd and 1, and Jamal Adams flexes over him. Like, Jamal, like you just gave up so much field position.
Yeah.
They don't, and there's a lot of bad things to talk about. I don't know if T'Vondre Sweat got off a block all day. It felt like that they could run at T'Vondre Sweat and through the middle of the Titans defense whenever they wanted to. But
I don't feel
in the second half,
more in the second
half they could, because
by then you're leaning on the defense. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, the defense did enough in the interior run game in the first half. They just did none of the other things.
Yeah, and then they weren't prepared for the outside run. They weren't prepared for the play action. They weren't prepared to tackle Reed on the outside. The defense, I thought, lost the game today. Before the offense had a chance to lose the game. So that, which is the opposite of what the first two games went.
I don't want to be that one-sided coverage where you're not giving the other team any credit. The Packers offense, again, all 11 players, that was one of the better blocking performances I've seen. Like, that was a really, really well-executed game plan on their part. A lot of those explosive plays downfield, and I'm sure we're going to see it when we get to watch the All-22, they were perfectly blocked downfield. So credit to them for being a really strong team in the run and downfield game in particular. But when you have what was, the number one defense statistically in many categories coming into the game, you expect a lot more resistance than that. And they didn't offer it at all. I know a lot of fans during the game really upset with Jeffrey Simmons, and maybe we want to take the conversation in that direction. But I don't think there's any one player on the defensive side of the ball you can point to and say, well, it was mostly their fault. Because I can't think of a player on the defensive side of the ball where I said, well, at least they had a good day. Who had the best day on defense? It's not obvious to you because none of them looked good.
No, none of them did. I don't have anything. Yeah, it was bad all the way around. Absolutely bad. All right. Look, there's a lot of people in the comments here. People are saying some logical things. People are saying some illogical things. That's how it works when you drop to 0-4 and lose to your former backup quarterback, who is not a very good quarterback, and you let them score 30 points on you at your home stadium. But let's go ahead and get to this. I'm going to post this question in the chat right now. What's one word to describe this Titans loss to the Packers? What is one word to describe this Titans loss to the Packers? We'll get to all of your comments here momentarily, but this is our post-game show presented by our friends at TDOT. With their Nobody Trashes Tennessee program, you can all be a part of the solution to end littering across the state of Tennessee. There's over 88 million pieces of litter on Tennessee's roadways, and it costs TDOT $23 million per year to help clean that up. And we can all jump in and be a part of the solution to help keep Tennessee beautiful. Make some changes to your lifestyle by stop littering, picking up that litter on the side when you see it, or join local cleanups like A to Z Sports is going to be doing later on this football season. Everybody can help out keep Tennessee beautiful, and you can learn how you can join the cause by visiting NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. Easton, we're here live on our Titan postgame show. Titans lose 30-14. Make sure you like the show if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We got a big audience today as the Titans dropped to 0-3. Please hit that like button. I know you don't like the Titans right now, but that doesn't mean you don't like our content and want to help us out by liking that button. So Easton, I'll send you the chat again. Bad words that you can go there, but one word to describe this Titans loss to the Packers today, 30-14. What are you seeing from the comments?
Well, Assad says garbage off the top. Jack says implosion. Sheila, abysmal. Burning Devil, panic. Curtis expected. He came into this game.
There's no way. There is no way you expected that, Curtis. Let's pause there.
Skeptical
no way.
with you,
because
Austin, on this. Yes,
one person I remember.
Josh too, by the way.
I remember. Nobody. There's no way you guys expected this.
Yeah,
because that's just a lie. Because,
you may have expected a loss, but not that.
No,
not that.
Right.
Not that.
Go ahead.
Okay, we'll keep going here. William said unacceptable. Yeah, I'm with you there, William. Chris says scrubs. Jeff, concerning, certainly is understating it. Alex, still preaching the patience. Alex, more patient than many amongst us. Caps thinks it's tanking time. Anthony thinks it's trash. Chancellor, Titan-esque, unfortunately. Can't show that one. Never mind. Carl says embarrassing. Austin, pathetic. Burning Devil, panic. Austin, my one word is disheartening. And, we talked about it pre-show and throughout the week that maybe the reason, I actually wrote a whole article about this. One of the biggest reasons why the Titans' first two games were so particularly infuriating was that they felt, well, first of all, they absolutely could have won either game. In fact, you could argue they should have won either game. And they felt like the better team in both games. And so while that fury in losing both of those games was there, I feel like in most fans, you weren't disheartened. You still felt like there was a chance. Maybe the fact that you were so mad was the reason why you were so, or the fact that you were so mad was because you felt like this team is better than their record shows. And then this game just takes the wind out of my sails in that department, because this is the kind of loss that is the exact opposite. This was getting outclassed in every phase of the game. This was not just making the stupid mistakes, which they did, by the way. This wouldn't have, unlike the first two games, they wouldn't have won the game if these things hadn't happened, but it would have been a lot closer if Will Levis does not throw a pick six and Jeffrey Simmons does not get called for a penalty on a field goal kick that I still want to go back and look at.
I want to look at that too on the Jeffrey, and I'll let you keep going, but on the Jeffrey Simmons play, the rule is, as a defender, you cannot hold an offensive player who is attempting to leave you to go block somebody else. So, and that can absolutely happen on a field goal, because Jeff could allow another rusher to get through to block it, and that is a defensive hold. So that's what the penalty is explained.
Right. And
you don't hear it all. You don't see it that often.
I want to go back and look at it. It feels like the kind of thing that probably, happens on every field goal kick. And it's like, why are you choosing to call that in this moment? The point is, I think it was literally the next play, right? They score a touchdown.
I believe so. I'll have to double check.
It was on the next 2 or 3 plays, at least.
Yeah,
they scored
very quickly afterwards.
Without those two,
because it caused, I tweeted, somebody has to get fired, as that Packers player was on the 5-yard line running in. It was like that was like, so this is bad.
So sans those 2 plays, it's actually a 16-14 loss, right? Which, again, I'm not saying they would have won. They would have lost,
pivotal,
even if those 2 things hadn't happened. But it's not, the second half looks a lot different. Will Levis is not having to throw the ball nearly as much. You're not nearly as panicked. You feel like you're in it. So those things did happen, and the Titans did still manage to shoot themselves in the foot. But even more than that,
second play after that, they stopped Wilson for a loss of 5. Jarvis Brownlee, nice play in the backfield, and then Willis to Wilson for 30 yards right after that. So it was 2 plays after the Jeff play.
Right. Okay. So in an attempt to land this plane, because I kind of forgotten where I started on this.
Sorry.
Unlike in the first 2 games where we were saying, if not for these 2 or 3 or 4 plays, they had those plays, and on top of that, we're outclassed, which is disheartening. And it makes me really question, maybe not question, but just go back to, the first thing I ever said on A to Z Sports on that first morning show I did before week 1. We were talking hot takes, right? And I was saying, I think this team might really suck for like 2 months and then look really good their last 4, 5, 6, 7 games of the year, but it's obviously too little too late. I'm right back to that spot. Those first 2 games actually made me feel like, maybe they don't suck out of the gate. If it's any more of what we saw today, they do suck.
Yeah, this is pretty bad. So real quick, before I get to my one word, because your one word repeated again here.
Disheartening,
which I think is a great one. And mine's kind of along those same ways. I do want to point this out, because I think this is a ridiculous stance to take if you're a Titans fan. I've wanted Amy gone since she's inherited this team, because that is so being oblivious to everything else that happened before Amy Adams Strunk took over. No, Amy Adams Strunk has been a very good owner. The reason why Titans fans actually have expectations to be mad today is because of Amy Adams Strunk. Like, you can be mad at how Bud Adams did not have a plan for after he died. You can be mad at Tommy Smith for wasting a lot of time in between there. But Amy Adams Strunk is nowhere near the problem here. That is ridiculous. She's the only reason why you care, because a lot of people did not care when she took over, and she's made you care now. So I just wanted to point that out. But I will say this, my one word is devastating, because this loss is the type of loss that is so devastating for a fan base that people are questioning what they're going to do for the next game. To be honest, we are there. It is the first day of fall. We made it. Summer's over. Doesn't feel like it.
Right.
But we are, like, Titans fans are already making personal decisions on, do they want to watch the next game, or do they want to go do something else? That is how devastating this loss in particular.
Right.
Because if it's Will Levis, and I'm just throwing things out there that we will answer over the next 5 to 6 days.
Right.
If Will Levis starts against Miami in week 4, the viewership in Nashville will be a lot lower. If the Titans lose in week 4 to start 0-4, now you have a bye week then
you got to sit on that for 2 weeks.
You sit on it, and people move on with their falls.
Yeah.
Like, pumpkin patches are starting to get more popular. Like, you're going to see other things besides
watching other
football.
NFL teams. There's other good football going on. Why would you subject yourself to this?
Absolutely. And so this loss is devastating because you had this Titans team has had so many opportunities to take advantage of other teams' mistakes and other teams' misfortunes. Is you should have beat the Bears, you didn't. You could have beat the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, and you didn't. Then you had your former backup quarterback who was not good enough to make your 53-man roster. Like, Malik Willis was going to get cut, right?
Yes.
Like, we all agree with that. Malik Willis was not going to make the Titans team. He just put up 280 yards on you in your stadium and scored 2 touchdowns and is walking away a very happy guy right now.
Can I emphasize something there, Austin? And I'll let you continue. But
yeah.
you're seeing a lot in the chat, and Malik believers through all of this, rightfully taking their victory laps. Y'all go off. Have a great week, genuinely. But like you said, he was going to get cut. And that wasn't like many people in the comments are saying, oh, the Titans cut the wrong guy. No, they cut the right guy. And that's what makes this worse, right? Malik Willis was clearly the 3rd quarterback out of 3 through camp. That's a fact. He deserved to be cut or on the practice squad. And that guy is who torched you. It wasn't because they made a mistake. It's the fact that they cut the right guy. Their worst quarterback came back and did this to them.
Yep. And now you're 0-3. And then guess what? You play the Dolphins and Tua's on IR and you have a chance to go to beat the Dolphins. But you screwed that up now too, because if you win today by beating Malik Willis and beating the Packers, who are a beatable team, they just played phenomenal. We've been over that. But this loss is devastating because you're 0-3, you're not 1-2. Because at 1-2 with a win today, going to Miami, playing against Scoop Huntley or Skylar Thompson, whichever. I don't know when he changed his name to Scoop, but
Scoop.
Apparently
Is it actually Scoop? Did I miss this?
When I saw the transaction that the Dolphins signed Scoop Huntley off of the Ravens practice squad.
No, it's Snoop. Snoop.
I'm sorry.
Snoop. No, okay,
Scoop, Snoop, whatever. The Titans are going to snooze all over that game and probably lose it to go 0-4.
Yeah.
So it's devastating. This is a devastating day for the Tennessee Titans. So we do have a big super chat that just came in, and I want to get to that. We also have a lot of super chats overall, but the big super chat just came in, so I'm going to get to that right now. And Zachary Hall, appreciate the $49.99. That's very nice. You don't have to do that, but thank you.
Appreciate you.
You're wrong, Austin. Judge the value of someone's contribution to an organization by what happens when they leave. Mike was fired for going against ownership. Maybe he was right. Mike Vrabel would have been 2-1 at worst. Amy is at fault for some of this. I don't.
How do we know Mike would be 2-1?
We don't. We don't know that
Mike
Vrabel would be 2-1.
Will Levis from doing what he's done through 3 games? Does he prevent that?
No. And Mike Vrabel got too big for his britches. And let's also, Zachary, what was Mike Vrabel's record the last 24 games as the Titans head coach? I'll just do the math for you. 6-18.
Yeah.
So would Mike Vrabel be 2-1, Zachary Hall? Like, I really don't like it was time. Mike Vrabel's tenure was over. And I said this, I kind of snuck this in at the halftime show. I was like, man, the Titans decided to hire Mike Vrabel instead of Matt LaFleur. They both got interviews for the head coaching job, and they had to convince Matt LaFleur, like, hey, man, you didn't get the head job, but you can come be the OC. And then the next year he gets the Packers job. Look, that's 7 years in the past. But,
right.
Right. But still, like, I don't think you can say that Mike Vrabel will be anything. Like I actually feel like this. Mike Vrabel, if he was the head coach here, the Titans wouldn't spend the money to go get Calvin Ridley or to go get L'Jarius Sneed or to go get Lloyd Cushenberry.
Yep.
They wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have spent that much because that's not how Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon would have put that together.
Well, Rand Carthon would have wanted to. Mike Vrabel would have prevented him from doing it.
But I don't think it would have worked.
Correct.
Because Mike Vrabel was fighting for more control. So Mike Vrabel would not have been in any different spot here. They might be a worse roster. You might have gotten blown out in week 1 and week 2, and you might have still been 0-3, but not have had your hopes up as high.
I'm just thinking about how much love Brian Callahan got for the last, 6-7 months of our lives, and it's week 3, and we're relitigating Mike Vrabel. I don't like that we're here.
Austin, I've watched you for years. You're wrong for that. Vrabel was coach of the year and took the Titans to the playoffs in back-to-back years. That's disgusting how disrespectful you're being right now. I'm not being disrespectful. Like, who else was a head coach of the year? Matt Nagy. What happened to him? Nothing. You know who was a coach of the year? Brian Daboll. And he's looking like he's about to get fired.
Don't win coach of the year is what we're learning. Don't do
it. Yeah, winning coach of the year, if you're not Bill Belichick, who's also got fired, is a bad thing unless you're Andy Reid. I don't even know when the last time Andy Reid's won coach of the year. Like, I'm not being disrespectful to Mike Vrabel. I just think Mike Vrabel was a good head coach until he wasn't. Mike Vrabel could win certain ways, but couldn't win other ways. And the Titans stayed in the 1990s and for way too long. The Titans are trying to catch back up. The NFL has been doing all the other things for like 5 or 6 years, and the Titans are trying to do it now. Like, it's just, and thank you, Eric, for saying that I have a punchable face. I appreciate that. You wouldn't say it to my actual face.
I got that too the other day. Apparently we're just a couple of punchable guys.
Happens.
Is it okay if we move on from Mike Vrabel discussion and talk about this game a little bit?
Look, we had a $50 super chat.
I appreciate that. And you know what? If you pay $50, we'll talk about whatever you want to.
Within reason. We can't say anything about Survivor.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
So a lot of people in the chat very upset with me. So this is probably ill-advised, but I want to say something else that might ruffle some feathers. But I do want us to discuss the offensive line. And I'm not scapegoating Will Levis. I tweeted after the game, this game is 1,000% not on Will Levis. That does not mean that he did not do a lot of very discouraging things in this game. He did. But unlike week 1, this is a complete team loss. This is no more Levis's fault than it is the rest of the team. They are all equally bad in this game in my eyes. And when you get set, what was it? The final number was 8 times he was sacked in this game. 8 times for like 56 yards. That's unacceptable. Something that I said on my old show at the very end of my run there, so at the end of this preseason, was that I felt like Bill Callahan was under a lot of pressure this season, and people took that. They did not like that statement from me. How could Bill Callahan be under pressure? My point was that we can't have this double standard where if the offensive line turns it around and looks really good this year, man, Bill Callahan, what a wizard. And if they look very bad, we say, man, these guys are bums, because surely if they were any good, Bill Callahan would have turned them into something. That I don't think we can have that. So I'm not sitting here saying that Bill Callahan, he's a bum. He's on fraud watch. No. He remains his track record. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the history of the league. But he should be under pressure today because and we have to be patient with offensive line development. I get that. This offensive line is not, it's not in an acceptable place right now. You can't be allowing 8 sacks to anybody, even in week 3. I understand we have to be patient, but there has to be a floor there, and they're finding new levels below the floor. I'm not I don't feel like his job or any of the offensive linemen's job through 3 weeks has been acceptable.
It's been really bad. NPF was awful. And NPF's effort after giving up the sack fumble was even worse than the effort to not give up the sack. Like, he did not go back to try to get on that football. He watched it happen. And I think that's why he was benched. I don't know that, but I'm trying to figure out why. Because like, giving up a sack isn't going to get you benched. But watching a fumble get recovered by the other team after you give up a sack would get you benched. All right, more super chats to come in here. Mike says someone needs to have a conversation with their dad and the O-line he is producing. So they kind of done the same thing that we just.
So Mike, we're on the same page here. Yeah.
So it's really bad. It's been really bad. And Jalen Duncan wasn't much better. Zachary Smith says, "Can the Titans get a 7th rounder for NPF? My God, and why does he look 50?" Great. I don't know. He's just not good. He wasn't good as a rookie. He got covered up by other things that were worse. Right. And then he basically didn't have a season last year due to his suspension and then his injury. And he just says the Titans gave up after the pick 6. They all quit. I don't think they gave up, but it definitely changed. Like it was the juice was gone. The pick 6 hurt a lot of things because it created a lot of doubt in the minds of the players, in my opinion. I think it was a very much a backbreaker. Do you agree? On the
I mean, we talked at halftime about how this team has to come out and show some heart. That was my big point. And on those literal first 2 drives out of the half, offensive and defensive for them, they didn't go great. Actually, I guess the defensive drive was fine because the Packers didn't score points. Or no, they did score points, right? Didn't the Packers score on their first drive out of the half? Was that the field goal penalty turned into a touchdown? Am I remembering that correctly?
No. Yes.
Okay. So on those literal first 2 drives, they did the opposite of what they needed to do. The offense did not show heart. I think they went 3 and out.
No, they did get a first down. 6
okay,
plays.
So
yeah,
they
and
went 6 and out.
It was
Congrats.
the 4th and 2. Levis got
That's
tackled.
right. Okay, so worse, literally. Two awful first drives. But then at the middle to end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, when really that the defense put together a couple of stops, the Packers didn't move the ball well there in the middle of the second half. And then the offense started to find some rhythm, especially on that one drive where they marched down, 50, 60 yards. They're in the red zone. They have moved the ball well. We talked at halftime about where are the receivers. Hopkins started to show up. Ridley made a nice play or two. Traylon Burks caught a ball. How about that? Then, the MPF strip sack fumble where Levis doesn't see the pressure. They lose the ball. That was when things died. I felt like, I texted you. I said, if they score a touchdown here, my Titans hope meter will come off of the 0 mark. It will move up a little bit because they could have had a chance. But I think that's really when things were killed there at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
All right, fair enough. TLG says LOF and L. This is a bad team. I'm insignificant as a single fan, but they won't get viewership from me. Not rewarding mediocrity. Keep smiling, Vrabel. Look, thanks for the super chat. That's why I think it's devastating. Is because guys like TLG, they're going to check out for the season.
He's not alone.
That's not fun, and nobody wants that. It's not even October yet. You're not talking draft. That's what sucks about this. Astro with Eric super chat says this was a complete failure on all faces. Also showed that the Titans could not develop quarterbacks. I disagree because Malik thrashed the defense. They were underestimating. They underestimated him and Matt LaFleur. NPF is a waste of space. So last week I called Traylon Burks a waste of space. Now NPF is a waste of space. So let me say the thing about Malik, because Malik was developed by this staff.
People hate me for it. So
no, but Malik was developed by this staff for 5 months, and he got better, and they traded him away.
Mm-hmm.
It shows you that the previous staff could not develop a quarterback, not the current one. We have to separate the two.
Right.
Rand Carthon did not draft Malik either. We've got to remember who did what and who's to blame for what.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan defense says done blaming Levis. I'm convinced the coaching staff is to blame. Malik showed the Titans today the difference between a good coaching staff and a good coaching staff mates. I say the biggest difference was the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Malik had an offensive line. Will Levis did not, because when
his skill players made plays. I mean, a couple of those deep balls, he just put the ball up and his guy made a play for him. Christian Watson was making plays down there.
And Matt LaFleur was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But the offensive line for the Packers won a playoff game last year good. The Packers are a NFC contender. They just
Super Bowl contender.
Yes, for sure.
With Jordan Love, yes.
Rotary Perfection says Malik is greater than his doubters. Amnesia says Titans tickets should be super affordable soon.
No kidding, Amnesia. Hey, buy your PSLs to this new stadium, guys. Get on it this week. My dad is a PSL holder since he was a founding member. I was talking to him last night about how they're calling him in for his Titans house visit this week. And he was like, well, I'm not sure I'm going to go. And especially if tomorrow goes poorly, I'm not sure I'm going to go. I know he's not alone in that.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel's burner. You'll always stick up for the people in power to stay in good graces with the team. Amy is responsible for this. She fired a great coach, modern offense. Dude, Mike Vrabel's burner. What does this even mean?
Do you want a modern offense or not? I'm confused. I thought the whole point was we're tired of caveman football. Now we want caveman football?
Yeah. Mike Vrabel went 6-18 his last 24 games. That's people get fired for that.
All coaches get fired for that. Yes.
Yes. And Mike Vrabel's burner is whatever, man. I'm not trying to stick up for Amy. I think why I say things about Amy like this is because I see awful stuff about that dumb people say on the internet about who she is and what she is running a business. It's stupid.
Yes.
And then I also think, do you remember what it was before Amy? Because that is abysmal. That is bad.
Yeah.
Amy's invested into the city and the team. Those are facts. It's ridiculous. And Ray comes back, more propaganda just to stay in good graces.
Can I also just point out that whether you genuinely think Amy is the problem or not, the dumbest thing that sports fans do is waste time and energy on the owner. That's the only person you can't fire, guys. Like, how do you think Panthers fans feel about David Tepper today? You're wasting you're not firing Amy. You're not getting her to move on. No one can fire God. So focus on what you can control here.
Zachary says Mike almost beat the Chiefs at home with Willis. Willis 2 times his best game stats against Titans at home. You could be right, but where do we go from here? I don't know where you go from here, man. That's a tough one. Connor, more super chats, and we'll get more to Will Levis conversation here. Connor says, as someone that has watched you guys going on the 4th season, I said it earlier this week, I'm giving that panic button a long, hard look. Playoff teams don't start 0-3, demoralizing. Yeah, this team is not
finger on the panic button. Don't look at it.
You said in the pregame show that this was like a put up or shut up type game. Well, shut up, right? Like the Titans teams, the Titans, not you, the Titans players can now shut up about anything.
Postseason wise.
Yes, it is. Yes. You guys are back to square one. And I
know some optimists will be like, well, they can still, let's phrase it this way, Austin, just to be completely fair. At this point, it will take the Titans and their coaching staff putting together I think the greatest season turnaround in terms of wins and losses in the modern era for the postseason. So if you want to break the record, go for it. But unless you're going to be record breakers, it's over.
Agree. I think I accidentally skipped some super chats.
Super chats here.
Yeah, I missed another one from TLG. Can't buy a team through free agency or build a team through the draft. The offensive skill players look like they're regressing, which makes you worry about coaching. And you never hire a coach that can adjust on the fly. It's when you don't have an offensive line, you can't do much of anything.
You're handcuffed.
And I think that is the overall problem, is that the offensive line was not fixable in one off season. They tried to fix a couple pieces. Skoronski still is a work in progress. So is J.C. Latham, and Lloyd Cushenberry's trying to hold it together, and he lets things go. Like there was a pressure that Cushenberry gave up that led to a sack that was really bad today. And obviously, I don't know everything about what that play is, and so, Lloyd Cushenberry's not been perfect, but NPF's been really bad.
And to the draftable players, by the way, I have a million things I'm upset with the Titans about right now. Their most recent draft class is not one of them. I felt like their draft. Devondre Sweat, I'm not pissed at today. J.C. Latham, I'm not pissed at today. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., made some rookie mistakes, but I didn't feel like he was unplayable today. I don't think that's where you should be directing your ire.
Agree. Young Baller says, I've been saying this for the past year. Malik was better than Levis. He never got a fair shake. Even Tannehill said it's not his job to mentor him. Young Baller, you're not right. Like Malik played a really good game today, and he has better offensive line in front of him and a better coach than Matt LaFleur's a better coach than Brian Callahan. Oh my gosh, that's not anything that anybody's gonna freak out over. Right. But Young Baller, Malik Willis is not better than Will Levis.
Do you know how many practices Austin and I have sat and watched with our own eyes and compared them directly? We're not, this isn't a vibes take. This is we've watched 50 days of our lives we've spent looking at the two of them. And every single day, it's clear and obvious. Every single day.
Yeah, as the sand goes through the hourglass. Let's talk Human Sense says, I think the players have given up, traumatized from the last 2 games. Who wants to play their hearts out while your quarterback is just going to give the game away? Teams see that. Teams see what coaching staff doesn't.
What he's saying is, like in Carolina, for example, when a quarterback is single-handedly keeping you from winning, teams do give up. The players in the locker room start to give up a little bit. That happens. I don't think that's the case here, Austin. Do you? I don't think they're.
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think they're giving up. I think they
look bad.
They were
trying
really
and
bad.
failing. They're trying and failing.
Very bad today. They had no teeth. They had no grit. They had no fight, but I don't think they've given up. Ethan Williams says, maybe he did, but I haven't seen Levis check out of a single play yet. He just rolls with whatever's called. That concerns the most. I don't know. He's barking at the line of scrimmage. One thing that I think I want to have.
I know where you're going with this.
The play clock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they run that play clock down all the way to damn 0. It's 0.
This is at the top of my list of things to ask tomorrow. Is this a play? Is the length of play call situation? Is it Levis taking too long? Why is it taking so long?
Yeah, and because I quote tweeted Justin Carlucci, who does some content. He's a Titans fan, and he was noticed that it's so easy to jump the snap when they're snapping it right as the play clock goes down. So the defense gets a really good head start on the bad offensive line to begin with. Ryan says Simmons should be traded while the rest of the league still thinks he's great. He has no accountability and never shows up in big moments. PK was right. I don't know what PK said. I don't know what PK is or isn't right about.
The same thing you've been saying about the doing dumb things to hurt the team.
Oh, yeah, he does dumb things. It's 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row. Jeffrey Simmons has done dumb things to hurt the football team. I've now got to count.
Are we okay to say today was a dumb thing? Like I'm withholding my dumb things moniker until I see the play. Because did you see how upset Brian Callahan was with that play call? I mean, you didn't take a lip reader to see him say, no way, no way, no way about that penalty call. I don't know if that is a dumb thing or him just getting kind of hosed. I don't know. I'm not saying it is or isn't. I don't know.
What is Jeffrey Simmons trying to accomplish? When it's 4th and 4.
Know. I don't know. I don't
when
know.
It's 4th and 4 and they're attempting a long field goal with a guy who you also cut. What are you trying to accomplish there? Like, what's the cost benefit analysis? Like, nothing. Like, let it happen, dude. Like, don't do dumb stuff to hurt the team. When it's 3rd and 18 or whatever it was, and you're trying to get a hand in to bat Aaron Rodgers' pass, don't swat down.
Right. It's
like, what's the point? Like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Hey, and not to change the topic too much, but as this comment is going away, is this the actual count? Is this over? They had 5 coming in today, right? The Titans turnovers?
Yeah, 5.
And then today they had 3. So I think it's 8 actually. Two picks and an interception, or 2 interceptions and a fumble.
Yes, 8.
But it is 8-0. I mean, just to briefly touch on that. As a data guy,
well, they did. There's the special teams turnover, so there's technically they're -7 in turnovers. The Titans are.
You mean the Bears one? The Bears turnover?
The Titans are -7 in turnover.
I know the one turnover you're giving them. Are you talking about the Bears?
Yeah, the special teams. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, not to be that guy, technically it doesn't count, but I get what you're saying. Whether you're 7 or 1 and 8 or 8-0, whatever it is, or 8-1 or 8-0, as a statistics guy, I can tell you that's not only so bad, it's also like almost impossible just in terms of it. Like turnover, you talk about turnover and luck all the time in the NFL, and whether fans want to admit it or not, a lot of turnovers is just being in the right place at the right time. It's a luck factor. So both in terms of how bad you actually are and how just luck works, it is gobsmacking to be that lopsided in the turnovers through 3 games. I guess the good news here, if Titans fans are looking for optimism, is again, just based on luck and regression, it will regress. There's a 0% chance they finish. You can't. You just can't. It'll be the first time in the history of sports, not NFL sports, that kind of thing happens.
Wait, actually, I think it is 9.
What are we missing?
Has Levis no, wait, no, he just had 2 turnovers in the second game.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I think he may be including some punt blocks, that's probably
the pump blocks don't count, which is weird. But the fumble recovery on Velus Jones Jr.'s fumble, that does count in the turnover margin.
Does it?
Yes. Yeah.
The one thing so I know at least one database doesn't count it, but I'll take your word for it that some people do count it. Anyway, who cares? The point is for it to be that lopsided is astonishing. You can't win games that way.
Yeah. Double whammy. Colts beat the Bears and the Titans lost. Yeah.
Titans are last is what he's saying in the division.
Last.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the Jaguars lose, they'll be tied for last. So there you
go. Zachary Smith says, look at ESPN standings, ranked 32 out of 32. I mean,
in terms of, I think he's talking about O-line, I'm going to guess, but that's also not true. So I don't know.
Steven says Cali equals Wizenhunt. Nope.
It's been 3 games, guys. 3 games.
And also, like, if you're going to say somebody equals Wizenhunt, if you're talking about like wins and losses, okay. But like, you have to like think about the people. Like they could not be a more different human beings than each other. Astro Eric says, so about the draft to fix the O-line and give Levis another year. Look, too early to know any of that overall. Zachary Hall comes back. Do you think the Packers would take a 6th rounder for Willis? Secondarily, Levis / Callahan for LaFleur, clean swap. Funny
brother. What?
Yeah. I don't know. Kick of the King says Malik outplayed Levis. All Titan Malik haters have 0 to say today. They should never be seen or listened to ever again. Also, Levis is not the guy. There's a lot.
You can tell that the Levis truthers have so much pent up energy from 2 years of losing that they're just letting it all out today. They're letting it all out. And listen, credit to them. Have a week, guys. Have a week.
Brian says, I see an early draft pick if this keeps up. Yeah, absolutely. An early draft pick if this keeps up. But let's look, we haven't spent a lot of time actually talking about Will Levis yet. So we need to do that. Let's go ahead and grade Will Levis's play. How do you grade Will Levis's play here in this game? I'm going to read the stats and then we're going to get to you guys. So he was 26 of 34 passing for 260 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, 2 interceptions, sacked 8 times for 56 yards lost. Then he ran 3 times for 12 yards, including a long of 8. How do you grade Will Levis's play? Easton, I'll let you start with the chat. By the way, like the show, please. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please hit that like button. It goes a long way for us. I know you guys are mad. It got a little personal earlier in the chat for whatever reason. I don't know why. But please like the show for us. But Easton, what are you seeing from the grades on the quarterback play today?
You'll be shocked to know not a lot of A's and B's on here. Actually, 1 B from Daniel, B-. Very light on Levis today. Mostly D's. T85 and Raz and Duran and Mr. Jackson and Guy all giving him variations of D, D+, D-. A couple season here from Carando and from Lucas and from G. An F from Alex Hamilton. A triple F from Nick Rogers, which I didn't know you could get one of those. That's tough. An F from Alex, C- from Rashad, an F from Troy. Yeah, all F's, D's, and C's. Austin, my grade for Levis is a C. I'm going to start a new hard and fast rule here on the show. If you, as a quarterback, whoever you are, if you get sacked 5 or more times, I'm not going to give you a grade lower than a C. Because I don't think, I mean, maybe somebody
that's you grading on a curve of this is a really hard test.
Yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, it is. And so, yeah, I'll give him a C because, again, if you eliminate and I understand that we can't eliminate, but if you eliminate from a statistical standpoint, his 1 pick 6, he had a fine day. Unfortunately, he did do the dumb thing. And that counts bigly. So it's a C, maybe I lean C- for him today. I felt like in the second, my grade is like 90% the first half, because in the second half, they're trailing so much. They're in a must-pass game script. I felt like he actually played relatively admirably. Aside from my biggest gripe with him in the second half, honestly, was pocket navigation. And he did get sacked 8 times, but at least 2 of them in my head, and I need to review the film, but at least 2 of them were him that one in particular, where he literally steps into the pressure on the long development play action. Only 2 guys in the route stepped right into it on a pump fake. Terrible. 100% on him, that sack. So that's my biggest gripe in the second half. Other than that, I felt like it was a neutral game for him in terms of impact, good or bad, except for the 1 pick 6, which was very, very bad. So it's a C- for me.
I think he is a D, flat out D.
Okay.
I think Will Levis, and I tweeted this, so I'll say it here. Will Levis is a bad decision maker. And there's a lot of different ways you can look at that. He is a poor decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
The pick 6 was a bad decision. There was the 4th and 2 run. Like, I know that they showed it like a diagram. Like, he could have thrown the ball to Pollard early, and Pollard could have gotten to the sticks, in my opinion.
But that's not the read there, though.
But
I mean,
it's 4th and 2.
I get that. But I don't think you can take issue with him not throwing to Pollard there, because his read is 1, 2, and then Pollard. They showed a wide. He's looking at the 2 guys downfield. We don't know
what the read progression was. They even said 1, 2, 3 and came back. But like, he's got to be quicker with his decisions.
That's fair.
He's making bad decisions, and then at times he's making bad decisions slowly. Now he made a bad decision fast on the pick 6. So
right.
He's just not good at making the right decisions. Like, there's times he should have, if you're going to run the football, do it.
Right.
Don't hesitate. If you're going to run, go. If you're going to throw it, throw it. Like, he doesn't have a great feel for the pocket. It is a messy pocket. The offensive line gave him no chance a couple of times, whether it was Duncan at right tackle or NPF at right tackle. I don't feel good about the quarterback.
How can you? How can you?
No, I'm talking like big picture too.
No,
like,
I know. How can you?
And I know
today? I don't think you can. Even the most ardent, honest Levis supporter, which I'm close to that in terms of just patience. Of course, I feel terrible about the long. I mean, if I had to guess today, it's not a positive ending for his NFL career. If I had to guess,
he has all of the physical gifts and ability. He's just not a good decision maker, and that is a killer. Like you can have like if there's take 10 yards off his arm, take his running ability or his strength or his guts away.
Right.
I'd rather have that who's a good decision maker than what he's got right now.
He is Jameis Winston to me today.
I think somebody said I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago that said he's Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
And when I've heard that a couple times this year so far, I wasn't ready to be on that take yet. Today I am ready to. Right now he is Jameis Winston. Because I hear you say he is a bad decision maker. Yes. And there's no arguing that, but it's when we say that by NFL quarterback standards, what that means is if you're making the wrong decision only like just 10% of the time, then that makes you a bad decision maker. It's not like more than half the time he's making a bad decision, because most of the time, just in terms of total number of snaps, he is making a good to great decision. But, probably like a fifth of the time he's making the worst decision. And that kills your NFL career.
And like just Swift, like guys, like Jameis Winston is way better than Levis. Like you're taking things too literally. We're talking about like the ups and downs.
Year two, Jameis, not today, Jameis. We're talking like Jameis's. At least I am talking Jameis's career progression, 30-30.
Yeah, we're talking about. Yeah, but I don't think Will Levis has the ability to throw 30 touchdowns. Like I think he can throw 30 picks pretty easily. He might be doing it this year or turn the ball over 30 times. But like, I think he is Jameis-like to where he's got the things that you want in a prospect, but the bad decision, reckless situations, like they're very much.
You nailed it. You know what killed Jameis's career was not his lack of ability, because he had the ability. What killed his career was his ability to make decisions. Currently, what is killing Will Levis's career is not his ability. He has the ability. What is killing his career is the ability to make good decisions. They're the exact player in that way.
Yeah. Some more super chats have rolled in here. So you gave, I think your grade was too high, but
C- is my final answer.
I get the offensive line was bad. But the defense, we talked about it for the first half of the show. The defense was atrocious, but more super chats. Levis couldn't beat out Sean Clifford, who's Green Bay's backup, third quarterback. Thoughts on Cam Ward? I don't have thoughts on Cam Ward as an NFL quarterback right now, but Cam Ward hopefully can make me win a bet of Miami going to the playoff, because I need to win a bet. Damn it.
Hey, congrats. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like Will Levis's past is very well documented. Yes, he could not beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State, but
Sean Clifford couldn't beat out Malik Willis. What's your point?
Yeah. And Trace McSorley was there a part of it too. Like whatever, like,
yeah,
it's, sometimes in college you're not ready to play and you sit behind somebody who's better.
Yes.
Kick It the King says, time to have this talk. Trade for Hendon Hooker. Nope, not time to have that talk. Noah says, I think it might be Radins at right tackle time with Brunskill at right guard. But yeah, Levis is really has trouble recognizing pressure or feeling pressure. I don't know about the offensive line stuff, because I don't think that they're going to want to do that.
I would have rolled my eyes at this comment last week. I'm not rolling my eyes at it today. I am on team, whatever the specifics look like. I am on team change things. Do something. Let's shuffle it. Let's make some moves here. And I get I'm not like going back on my whole trust the process. Offensive line takes a long time. I wrote entire articles about it the past couple of weeks. I'm still there. It's just when things are so bad on that one side in particular, I don't know how long what's the threshold for being patient with a guy like MPF, for example, to just trust the process with him in particular. I'm trusting the process with the whole line, but that individual player, I don't have any more process to trust, man.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. NPF, I don't have that. The problem with like your leash on NPF is that you're putting in Jalen Duncan instead,
who I know Bill Callahan really likes, actually. But
in the Dylan Radins thing that Noah brings up, Dylan Radins at right tackle. Like, here's the problem. Dylan Radins has spent the entire calendar year of 2024 being a guard.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to want to put him in this situation, put him at right tackle. And
it's going to make him worse. It's going to make him a worse player.
Right. I don't think that makes sense. Andre says Levis is the exact guy I saw for 2 years at Kentucky. Yeah.
So far.
I said this after the Bears game, the Bears post-game show, 2 weeks from right now.
So far this season.
Right now. 2 weeks ago right now. This is why I made the funny draft day ripoff post-it note of no matter what, not Will Levis.
You did say this. Yep.
This is it, because 8 turnovers in 3 games, some of them not his fault, a lot of them are, is really, really brutal. And then Ryan, who is a Kentucky fan, says Levis's Baker Mayfield upside pains me to say that. Dude, that's a compliment.
Baker's
pains you to say that?
He's a franchise player right now.
Yes,
that'd be great. I'd take that in a.
That's if Ryan is thinking this is a negative thing, then I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
It's okay if the answer is you don't want to talk about this today, because we may want to talk about it later in the week.
Okay.
But just the whole conversation, the whole bench Levis for Rudolph conversation, do we want to broach that at all?
Not yet.
Okay.
Because, the next game is Monday Night Football in Miami.
There's a 0% chance Levis does not play in that game. I just want to put that out there. Do you think there's any chance that he's not the starter in that game?
Oh, I mean, I think he's going to play.
Okay.
But again, it is a very, when you said you're pro it, I think it's time to look at changing things. I'm with you. I don't know what they want this season to be. Again, this is a devastating loss today at 0-3 with opportunities that were flushed down the toilet to get to 1-2 and then play another backup quarterback against the Dolphins to get to 2-2 before the bye to play the Colts. There were so many opportunities and all of them are now about gone. So it's a really, I'm not ruling anything out. I'm not going to be surprised by any decision made from.
I will be very surprised by that personally, just to put that on the record.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's see. I don't think
super chats here.
Yeah, I think we're good on super chat. So we're almost at an hour for the show. It's been a very rough go at it, but I do appreciate you guys for the conversation. Make sure you don't take this personally at each other. Let's not do that.
Just football, guys.
Yes.
Just football.
Yes. They got a little dicey there early on in the middle of that show.
Emotions are running hot today.
Yes. So anyway, make sure you hit that like button. Please hit the like button for us. That goes a long way for us. I do want to give a great shout out to our partners this football season for our game day live show. That is X Golf Nashville, and also now in Murfreesboro, the home indoor golf in Middle Tennessee. X Golf, play, train, and entertain. Visit playxgolf.com. BetMGM, log in today to get your Pro Football Boost Pack to acquire tokens for even more winnings. BetMGM is an official partner of the Tennessee Titans, and T-Dot, be part of the solution to end littering and make sure nobody trashes Tennessee by visiting nobodytrashestennessee.com. Easton, do you have any parting words?
My parting words are, people that know me know that I am ever the optimist. And if you are looking for any glimmer of hope, nobody in your division has more than 2 wins today. So, there's a lot of losses in the loss column.
Man. That's another opportunity missed with the Texans losing.
It totally. But my point is, the AFC South right now is starting to look like it's going to be that really ugly division. It's like, oh, I can't believe we have to have one of these teams host a playoff game. Is kind of what it's looking like right now. So, you never know. That's
tough.
That's cope. I understand that's cope, but if you're looking for any optimism, there it is.
All right. That'll do it for us. Hope everybody has a solid rest of your Sunday. Be safe, everybody. And then content for tonight, Buck Rising live for A to Z Sports Primetime coming up tonight at 7 p.m. Central. So primetime coming up later with Buck. And then Zach Bingham and I will be live Monday morning at 8 Central. So get ready for that. I'm sure we got plenty of thoughts in the next layers of the conversation. Check out A2Zsports.com/Titans. That's A2Zsports.com/Titans for everything that's going to be written by Sam, by Buck, and by Easton, because I'm sure a lot of things will be published here over the next several hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody have a good Sunday. We'll catch you guys later. Appreciate it.